Ollie Behrman to win the Jeddah Grand Prix.
His first season. So
He needs at least two. He needs at least one first season and a second
mhm,
season before that. In my opinion, like I said this right about Ruben Amorim, I wouldn't even
mhm.
judge him. Like I wouldn't even start the conversation for another 2 seasons after this season.
I'm think like thinking about it, like with the form that we've had this season. I think I was watching a video the other day where it said in the basically in the last half of the season,
Mhm.
we've only taken away about like I think 10 points
Oh,
or something.
so you had this. You basically had. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Pace and the Play podcast. I'm your host John, and this is your other host.
Geo.
Yeah, so guys, and boy, was it a crazy week this week. A little bit later in the week posting this video. We had to record a little bit later, but that does mean we get to react to a couple of different
Yeah,
games that
games.
happened.
I think our teams both played two
Yep. Yeah.
recently.
Do you wanna? So we and Jim were talking right before off camera, right? Do you want to talk a little bit about Chelsea? How you predicted that they would beat Ipswich, or however you say it?
Yeah, I knew that we lost to them earlier in the season, so that's why I was praying that we would
Hmm.
get this win. But unfortunately, we drew, and one of our goals was an own goal as
I
well.
did.
That was
Yep.
the score, which is pretty upsetting. Um, but aside from that, we also played a match from I think Legia.
Yeah.
Uh, although we're all into the
Semifinals.
well, regarding that first match, actually, if I remember correctly, we had somewhere 20 plus chances, and we did not score. Like literally, like there was. I remember vividly. There was one goal where, or well, not one goal, one chance in the
Uh,
first half where I forgot who it was, but they crossed it. They passed it into the box.
yeah.
Madueke touches it, and it's to the point where, like, if you saw it, he could just bang it top left, and the keeper wouldn't be able to do anything to it,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
because
Yeah.
there was defenders in front of him, so he wouldn't be able to see it. So if a top-notch striker or clinical goal scorer was in that position, I fully believe, I can guarantee you, goes in. But no, he shoots it wide. I was like, no shot that he just did that. And of course, like the usual. Oh, pissed that you missed a shot, but I was bro, like, I was like, at that point, like, that has to go in. But if I remember correctly, it was at least 20 plus chances, and we only scored one. So it's like we just got to get more clinical,
Yeah.
like,
Hmm.
and regarding that second match with Legia, we actually ended up losing. I think we had a offside goal though.
Okay.
Cucurella nearly had a brace, but he was just offside with that for that second one. Um,
So
but
what? So what? Are Chelsea like out now of the Conference
no, they're
League?
on the semifinals. They're in the
They're in the semi. Okay, I
semifinals.
was gonna say. There's
Yeah,
no
yeah,
way.
yeah. No, yeah, they're in the semifinals. I forgot who they're playing against, and I feel like that's not so disrespectful because I know that they're like kind of like I guess not that well known of a team, I'm sure not many people know who they are, but if I remember correctly, we're either gonna face Fiorentina or I forgot who else.
Hey,
I'm not
I wouldn't.
sure.
I'm just saying, right? Like not well known of a team, but Fiorentina. I'm just saying in Serie A this season have been quite well. I do watch a little bit of Serie A. I think they could
Uh,
be like 90% of Premier
well,
League
that's who
teams.
we'd face in the final. It's
Oh, in the
either
final.
between after that unknown team.
Oh, okay.
If we guaranteeing we win,
Okay.
then we'd face against Fiorentina or I forgot who else. Um, but that's the one now that I'm like thinking about it, like with the form that we've had this season. I think I was watching a video the other day where it said basically in the last half of the season,
Hmm.
we've only taken away about like I think 10 points
Oh,
or something
so
like that.
you had this. You basically had the Manchester United start because we started the season only
Yeah,
taking 10 points.
yeah. This last
Jeez.
this last batch of games, the second half of the season, I think we've only taken away like 10 points. So it's
Jeez.
like we're just having just an awful
It's a bad
second.
time. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a bad.
especially for a final that's coming up. Like that's now that I'm thinking about it, where I think it is Fiorentina who has been having that like a better half of the season.
Yeah.
I feel like, they could have the potential to beat us,
Uh-huh.
but obviously I'm hoping with our quality of the squad, and the amount of players that we have that um,
The
we'd be
eternal
able to
story.
pull. Yeah, literally that we'd be able to just pull something off and win it.
Yeah, yeah.
Be one of the only teams to have all three trophies, which I think is a little bit of a nice kind of brag, although not many people would want to wish to
I'd
play.
be okay never winning the conference league if it meant that I never yeah, you know what I mean? But I
Yeah,
get what you mean.
exactly.
Would you but
So
so you're predicting that Chelsea are so like right now going into the semifinal, you're predicting that Chelsea's gonna win the conference league?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Uh,
I predict that the next match that we go against will end up winning. But with the slump that we've been having, especially with this last game,
uh
we just weren't really able to produce chances. So that's just the only thing I'm scared about. Especially with the goalkeepers that we have, like Jorgensen makes too many small mistakes. Like he nearly scored. They nearly had three. I think it was 2-1. They nearly had three, I remember.
Don't get me
Um
started on goalie mistakes, bro. Don't get me started
oh,
on
absolutely.
goalie
Oh yeah, I
mistakes.
can't imagine what you're going through.
Oh
But
boy.
other than that, hopefully we make some better signings, some actual seasoned players, more for goalkeeper. And I know we have like Estevao, Willian coming in,
Yeah.
and a few other players coming in, which is always nice. Um, Players on loan in Strasbourg with Petrovic and Andre Santos. I think Petrovic is one of the best goalkeepers in the league over there.
Yeah, from
So,
what I've seen, because I've been looking at goalies all over the place.
mhm.
Kind of like
So
saying,
just to see who you can buy.
yeah,
Uh, so that's always an interesting thing. They have the League One skill wise is very comparable. To the Premier League, so it's just a bit more physically fast
yeah,
and more physical.
yeah. I'd
But
say league. Yeah, it is. I guess physically comparable to the Premier League. I just think that the Premier League is way more quality, right, than
yeah,
this. Yeah.
exactly, exactly.
So
A lot more players who come from the French league, I feel like, have an easier time adjusting than from like Spain or Italy, which
yeah, it's
like
just because
somehow
it's
we
really
struggled,
different. It's just because it's very different styles of play, though. Like obviously in Italy, right?
Exactly,
You
exactly.
you you have
And
to be
then
more
once you get
defensive.
then you have players here who like Pulisic who goes over to AC Milan and is
Does
tearing
way
it up
yeah,
over
yeah.
there, So that's just my only thing.
Yeah.
But how about you, brother? How are you feeling?
Yeah, the week started terribly. I mean, I predicted that that United were gonna draw or win against Newcastle. God, that game was terrible. It was honestly, I felt it was one of the most
Yeah,
un,
4-1.
yeah, it was honestly. So, well, I'll get into the goalkeepers in a little bit, right? But
Mhm.
overall, I think it was really one of the most unfocused performances from a United side this season. And we've
Yeah.
had some bad performances where we just seemed unfocused. Uh, and personally, I even said it on like my other socials, right? That we should rotate the team heavily
Mhm.
in order to prioritize
Yeah.
the Leon game, which didn't happen. And now we have the Xerxes injury because of it and all this stuff.
Mhm. Yeah.
So to lose 4-1 and to not realistically rotate the team that much, that to me that's unacceptable, right? It's
Yeah.
either it's never acceptable to lose, but I would have accepted a loss if it was basically playing like 90% kids, right? Like
Yeah,
90%
yeah,
youth
yeah.
squad.
Just getting them in there.
So the week started off bad, and I guess I'll touch on the goalies right now, right? I personally think United need two goalies because don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, Bayender was more favored by Ruben Amorim when he started playing him, but then
Mhm.
he got injured, we know, and Bayender he did okay when he had his run of games, but he just doesn't fill me with confidence either. Like at least with Onana, I know that he's done it at Inter Milan. I know that he's done it at Ajax. I know that he played in the Barcelona Youth Academy, right? So I know that there's at
Yeah.
least some pedigree there. But with
Mhm.
Bayender, like I'm not I'm not sold on him. Like I'm not confident on him. So I would honestly, if I were United, I would try to sign two goalies, right? But obviously with the
Yeah.
transfer budget being minimal, this summer
Mm-hmm.
transfer window, I don't think we'll sign two. Right now, if you ask me right now, I'd keep Onana, sell by under, and bring in a new
Yeah.
number one or a new
Mm-hmm.
goalie to compete with Onana.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Onana in that first Leon game, that free kick goal,
Oh
freak
yeah,
free kick goal.
that was pretty. That was atrocious.
But I mean, speaking on Onana though, I mean, he did quite like. Don't get me wrong, he didn't have he didn't light the world on fire. He shipped 4 goals right against Leon in the second game, right? But there were signs of a better performance. You know, like some of his reaction saves were better. There were definitely moments where Leon should have scored, in my opinion, but Onana kind of saved us in a way.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't think any of the goals against the Leon in the second game were Onana's fault. Like
Okay.
the first goal, in my opinion, was just a freak goal. And then
Yeah.
Luke Shaw coming on, in my opinion, was a mistake by Ruben Amorim. He's been out injured for so long, so you don't just throw him
Mhm.
back in there, especially in a game that we have to win. It's a
Yeah.
season-defining game. Um, so in my opinion, Luke Shaw kind of deregulated the back a little bit and just kind of opened up the door for more shots against
Mhm.
Onana. Right, like I'm not confident on Onana's shot stopping, right? But the Maguire, Euro, and Mazraoui back line were able to hold Leon to minimal chances or not high percentage chances, and Onana was able to
Yeah.
deal with it, right? And as soon as we saw Luke Shaw and a little bit of instability in that back line, we saw the problem with Onana, realistically, right?
Yeah.
However, I did think he tried to make up for the the first Leon game. This game, I mean, he in extra time, right? Like right after we scored our fifth goal, um, I saw him charging out. Didn't care if it was his player in front of him. Didn't care if it was a Leon player. He was focused, won the ball, punched it out. And honestly, if he did more of that more often, just command his penalty box area because it was a cross or it was like a lob ball
Yeah.
over. If he would
Mhm.
just do that more, I think he'd have a better career at United, right? But
Yeah.
it only comes in glimpses. Like it's not consistent, and I think that's why realistically we need two goalies. If you ask me right now, I'm personally a fan of the. I've had comments of people saying Verbruggen from Brighton. I just think Brighton are gonna ask a stupid amount of money for their goalie, especially going to another Premier
Oh,
League
absolutely.
team. Um.
Especially for what they did for Robert Sanchez. Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like that's prime example of what Brighton are gonna do with Van Bruggen, right? When he moves on to whoever he moves on.
Hmm.
I like. I'm gonna butcher his name, but it's Carde. It's Cardesecchi. He's an
Okay.
Italian goalie at Atalanta,
Okay.
and
Okay.
in my opinion, he's very. When I see him play, and when I read his stats, I've only seen him play a few times, but I read his stats, and his stats are pretty decent this season. I see a young version of Donnarumma, but like not the
Okay.
PSG Donnarumma, the old Donnarumma
The
before he
AC.
went to the AC Milan Donnarumma, right?
Uh-huh.
Before he went to PSG. And if we could get that cuz he's young. For a goalkeeper, he's young. If we could get that guy in and he's good, he
Hmm.
could basically become our next, in my opinion, De Gea, right? Because we bought De Gea in when he was young, not a proven goalie, and then he proved
Yeah.
himself. Like he built up with the team, right? So in my
Hmm.
opinion, I want to recreate the De Gea scenario,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So that's what I would do with the goalies. But speaking about that Leon game, I said this in my other socials. Manchester United are gonna give me high blood pressure one of these days. It's just gonna happen. Like watching this team
Yeah.
play is gonna give me high blood pressure. But
Oh, that. Yeah. Absolutely.
Harry Maguire coming to the rescue. I mean, I'll say this.
What a storyline.
What a story from villain to hero in like one season. I know, right?
Literally.
I mean, I used to chant Harry Maguire out under Ollie, under
Yeah.
Ten Hag, but now
Hmm.
I'm looking at it, and honestly, that back three suits him as a more experienced player, right? I would keep him for another season,
Yeah.
maybe two. He's not as injury prone as other players, right? So
Hmm.
I think as a backup senior head at the back line, keep him.
Yeah.
If we're gonna
Keep
stick,
him.
if we're gonna stick with Ruben Amorim, because apparently there's already
Hmm.
Ruben Amorim out people, which is crazy to me.
Well, yeah. Over at Chelsea, same thing. I'm hearing conversations about Maresca out.
I just
Um.
I don't get it.
Even, yeah, I agree. It's kind of like I don't know. I feel like they just well, both of them. I feel like need time. Um.
As especially because realistically, right? Maresca he was here the whole season, right? This is his first
Mhm.
season.
So he's on. This is his first
He's
season.
just,
So it's.
he's at least two. He needs at least one first season and a second
Hmm.
season before that. In my opinion, like I said this right about Ruben Amorim, I wouldn't even
Hmm.
judge him Like I wouldn't even start the conversation for another 2 seasons after this season, right?
Literally.
Because he came in
Yeah.
halfway through the season with Ten
Hmm.
Hag players and a Ten Hag transfer window that he had to deal with, and he has such a unique system that realistically it's not going to be 4 months and they're going to start playing his system right. So in my opinion,
Exactly.
it's 2 years before we even have this conversation, despite results.
Yeah. No, I agree. I feel like the conversations of removing managers is just so frequent. You
Yeah,
almost never see managers that stick out like an actual 5+
yeah.
seasons with one team, which is pretty unfortunate.
Like you'll get the freak like Pep Guardiola, but all of these managers that are in
Mhm.
their, I guess, incumbent positions, they were all there before this whole manager merry-go-round started, right? Like
Exactly.
Pep since what,
Oh,
2015,
dude. Yeah,
16
at
something.
least 16.
Yeah,
So he's had basically 10 years with the team. So I would
yeah.
understand if after a certain point he's like, all right, I need to go
I
somewhere
want
else,
to
you
move.
know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I wanna move, like, just to go and, with Pep too, like, he's had clubs where they've usually had some money, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
to to kind of build his system up, so he'll probably do that again. He'll probably go to another team that has some type of money,
My thing is where
and
though, right? Like I don't, I
yeah.
don't, I don't see Pep going to a PSG. I don't think he has any interest in the
No,
French
I
league.
don't think I think he probably sits out a couple seasons, like, a couple he's
Go to
made enough
Spain.
money.
Yeah, but go to Spain.
Mhm.
Where's he gonna go? I mean, Barcelona have Hansi Flick. He's not gonna go
Well,
manage Real
and then
Madrid.
no, I've already heard that Madrid's being linked with, Xabi Alonso,
I did see that. Yeah.
um,
I
so
mean,
I
it's
feel
the storyline, right? Like Xavi Alonso, Real
Mhm.
Madrid player, comes
Literally,
manages Real Madrid.
exactly.
Yeah.
He played for them. He's their
Um,
one of their love players. So.
he's already conquered Germany, right? I mean,
Hmm.
with Bayern Munich. The only other
Yeah.
two leagues that realistically you could see Pep at if he doesn't go international are Ligue 1 or Serie A. And in my opinion, I think he would. If you put Pep in Serie A with a team that has a decent budget,
Hmm.
like a Napoli or an AC Milan, I think that's
Yeah.
Serie A done for like 4 or 5
Yeah. For the
seasons.
next 5 6. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna get
No, I
dominated.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree. Especially if he does go to like an AC Milan or a Napoli, maybe an Inter, but I don't know.
Maybe a Juventus, but I'm not sure like how well Juventus are doing, I guess
With
financially
financially,
and also
exactly.
like just the state of the club. I know our other
Hmm.
friend Manny, he's a Juventus fan. He also
Yeah.
gets mad at his club, but it is
Oh,
what it
that
is.
I would.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Yeah.
Um,
Um.
but yeah, no, like this Ruben Amorim thing, in my opinion, uh, just stop, stop, all
Yeah.
of you,
No,
stop.
no, no. Like it's only been half a season. Like you can't really
um,
judge me for that. It's like bringing back Frank Lampard, just to finish the season and being like, "Let's give
exactly,
him another, let's give him
exactly.
another shot." It's like, no, bro. Like we've already seen what he can do. Just let him ride it out and
Yeah.
you know let
I
him go
uh
elsewhere.
I guess for me personally, right, I'm still gonna stick to my guns, right? Manchester United
Mhm.
will win the Europa League. Um, I still do think so. We play Bilbao, right? We know how Athletic Club de Bilbao are
Mhm.
in the Europa League, so that's a little bit concerning to me. But I think we'll win that game, one of
Yeah.
those two games, and I think we'll win the Europa League.
Mhm.
Honestly, I think we'll qualify for the Champions League. But
Yeah.
my fear with qualifying for the Champions League is it's just more, I guess, cannon fodder or pressure on Ruben Amorim, right? Because
Yeah.
if we qualify for the Champions League, it's through a complete fluke. Like we won the Europa League. We're what 15th in the Premier League with a squad that is nowhere near the top table of the Premier League,
Yeah.
right? So so I have a feeling that the fans, at least some portion of the Man United fans, are gonna go like, "We're so back. Man United are back. Look at us." I'm like,
Oh,
"Oh,
absolutely.
okay. Let's calm down here. Let's take a look at the facts. All right.
Yeah.
Look at last season. Unless we have some freak, like we bring in like 8 players, and even then, like there's a question mark of can all those players adapt quick enough, right?
Adapt quick
It,
enough to the league. Yeah.
it's not gonna happen, right? Like
Mhm.
I'm happy and I'm predicting that we'll win the Europa League, but I'm not gonna run away with it and be like, oh my god, United are so back, we're gonna win everything, you know? It's
Everything.
not,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Exactly. We're gonna win the league next season.
it's not realistic, at least in my
Win
opinion.
the
Yeah,
treble, quadruple.
yeah. Um, Chelsea though,
Mhm.
do you think? Right, you've had a decent season. Do you think another transfer window when you're ready to challenge for the Premier League?
I would hope so. I would hope that we're able to sell the players that we aren't using now. Like I
Uh-huh.
know there's rumors about like loaning out João Felix to Benfica
Okay. Yeah.
uh quickly enough. Well, right now, currently enough, but should it be I think it's facilitated within the next couple of weeks. I think he'll be like playing for them for one of their competitions. I forgot which one.
Oh,
But
in the Club World Cup, like once the summer transfer window
in
actually
the Club
starts.
World Cup.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what Benfica's hoping for is that we'll be able to finish that deal enough so that way João Felix can play for them
So as soon
for
as
the
the
couple.
season, as soon as the transfer window opens, Felix out basically. Like,
Basically, yeah.
okay, okay.
Um, so it's stuff like that where like hopefully we should be able to flip enough players to like who aren't really playing that well.
Or first team
But
players,
then
yeah.
it's also like yeah, or at least trim down the squad. Maybe I would say at the very least bring in a goalkeeper. Maybe
Uh-huh.
bring back Petrovic, but but after the season he's had. So
Mm.
maybe that's what I would maybe suggest instead of having to go out and buy somebody, maybe just bring them back. And that I would say at the very least we do need somebody. Like I'm pretty sure there's rumors about Nkuku being sold. I think Mudrik after being found with pad in his system or doping
Oh
or
yeah, PEDs.
allegedly,
Yeah,
yeah,
allegedly.
that's allegedly. Um,
Episode 4 shut
allegedly,
down. Episode
yeah.
4 sued.
Uh, so, allegedly, after being found doping, I think we'll probably end up wanting to get rid of. Well, who takes him up though? I don't know. I'm pretty sure
Honestly, I
we'll.
think the whole Modric
So
situation, you're most likely gonna. I think he's gonna get banned, honestly, from playing.
yeah.
And I think at that point you'll
So
have to release him. I think you'll just have to take the loss.
yeah, depending on what happens, because I can't remember fully what happened with his B sample,
Yeah,
and his A sample, but regarding that, I mean he hasn't been playing, so I guess that's kind of like the tell
the
of
telltale
what is.
sign. Yeah,
Yeah, of what might be the verdict of whatever is happening.
a red herring, so
So
to say.
yeah, uh-huh. So Robert Sanchez, get him out of there.
Get him
Um,
out.
yeah, get him out of there. So
It's
that's what I
time to
think.
go.
So, but that would be only that's my only thing is we at least need to get another striker. I know that they've been with Nicholas Jackson. He was a winger that was converted into
A
a
striker.
striker.
Okay.
So that's why, like, I'm a
S-
little bit lenient on him to an extent because he is not. That's not his original position.
Yeah.
He bought him when he was being played as a striker, but his original position is a winger. So
Yeah.
that's the only thing. But that's I would hope that we buy a clinical enough striker. I
So
know I want to get Rafael Leao and Victor Osimhen.
that's crazy.
Um,
That's gonna
I
be an
know
expensive.
maybe hopefully
That's gonna be an
Osimhen.
expensive.
Yeah, so hopefully it's Osimhen because I know he's been at least in Galatasaray
He's been
and
tearing it up.
proven himself.
He's been tearing up
Yeah,
at
yeah,
Napoli.
exactly.
It's just
Mm-hmm.
that Napoli want to get rid of him. I know United's been linked to Victor Osimhen, but I don't think there's any. I don't think we have the
Yeah,
money to buy him.
to buy him.
Yeah.
So that's I know they're looking to get somebody clinical. I would hope that like if they do want to go after like a Rafael Leao since we have
But he's
stole
also a
enough
winger.
players. Yeah, I know, but it's just one of those things where like
You don't
maybe
pass up
he,
Rafael Leao.
yeah, like we shouldn't like at least give him a shot.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want
S-
to pass up on the opportunity to possibly
So
break out.
striker, winger, goalie. In your personal opinion, striker, winger, goalie. Chelsea signed the best in class, right? Is that enough for you
Yeah,
guys to challenge for a Premier League?
I'd say so. I like how our midfield, if our midfield is a little bit more, I guess, structured, I should say,
Hmm.
because I like how our defensive players. I love Caicedo.
Yeah.
Caicedo is like great back there. Enzo Fernandez has like a bit of like a. Sometimes he does some good stuff. Other times I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Um, and then Cole Palmer, of course,
Cold
I can't.
Parmer. Cold
You
Parmer.
know, Old Palmer. So that's just the only thing. I think he was also talking that speaking on how Maresca has also played him on the wing, and that's how he started playing well.
Yeah,
So that's why I'm also kind of like, why don't we just move Cole Palmer back to
to the wing.
being a wing, and
Yeah,
then just bring in maybe a potential cam, but we already have Enzo. But then
Enzo
it's,
and. But I
you
feel like
know,
Enzo Fernandez. When you say Enzo, you mean like Enzo Fernandez, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like even at Benfica, even for Argentina though, he's more of a like he's a
Box.
pivot. Yeah, he's like a box to
Yeah.
box pivot. Like I don't see
Hmm.
him as a cam. You know what I
No,
mean?
so then that's when it's like, what else can we do?
You have
Maybe
Nkunku, but if he's selling Nkunku, then
that's exactly.
yeah,
Then it's kind
Felix,
of
but Felix apparently is leaving.
Felix is going out. We have a guy named Cassidy,
uh,
who I've been wanting to see him play more. Then we have like Mark Yu. It's like what
oh, okay, yeah.
it's like what are we doing? Like why haven't we been giving him as why haven't we been playing
Yeah, but
him
they're
as
collecting
much?
that bread, bro. They're collecting that bread.
Yeah, they're just chilling on the bench collecting that bread. So it's stuff like that where it's like,
yeah,
maybe just start playing Mark Yu for the last couple of games and have him start getting some more Premier League experience.
yeah,
What do I know? You
yeah.
know?
What do I know?
But what about yourself? What do you feel like? Who would you say you would want to
Realistically,
maybe purchase as a realistic purchase? Who would you say first purchase Man United are purchasing?
first purchase we need is a striker, an experienced striker. Now
Hmm.
we've been linked to Yakares and Victor Osimhen.
Hmm.
Instantly for me, would love those players. Out, they're out. They're just too expensive because I think United needs to sign. There's 4 positions minimum this summer that we need to sign. Minimum.
Yeah.
We did get linked to Sesko. It just depends on what RB you want to sell him for, right? Is it gonna be the Red Bull team that's gonna want 70 million for a Sesko, or is it gonna be the Red Bull team that wants 40 million for a Sesko? That 40
Hmm.
million, I'd bite the bullet and I'd take Sesko, right?
Yeah.
The me personally, we got linked to him and I liked him. I follow him during the Euros. I followed him since he started in the Bundesliga.
Hmm.
Is Patrick Schick, 29-year-old,
Okay.
tall,
Yeah,
left
yeah, yeah.
footed striker. Yeah. In my opinion, experience. So like the main issue that I have right now with our strikers, right? Like we saw yesterday in the Leon game. Rasmus Højlund like gets mad and like tells people to pass to him, but like he's 22 or 20, he's about to be 23, but he's 22. He doesn't have that like I guess aura, if you want to call it that, to
Yeah.
go up to a Garnacho, to go up to a Bruno Fernandes and be like, you need to pass me the ball. Whereas like an
Hmm.
experienced goal scorer like a Patrick Schick can go up to a Garnacho and be like, you need to start passing me the ball. What are you doing? Like right
Yeah.
when Garnacho goes off on his little tangents of not passing the ball. So in
Hmm.
my opinion, Patrick Schick, because apparently he's available for anywhere from 20 to 30 million.
Okay.
Patrick Schick, in my opinion, he's the first signing that United should get because I think striker is super important. Uh, we need a goalie. Like I said, I would like the Atalanta goalie, depending on the price, but
Yeah.
I don't think they'd ask for more than 30 million for the
Hmm.
Atalanta goalie. Cardinelli, I think we need a. See, here's where it becomes tough, right? Because if we sell Kobe Mainu, which apparently they still want to do, we need a ball progressor because
Yeah.
I think Bruno and Mason Mount will play the two cam roles on the Ruben Amorim
Hmm.
next season. So we need a ball progressor, and I would honestly look at somebody like an Enzo Fernandez, depending on
Yeah.
how much Chelsea would want for him. Realistically, probably a ball progressing midfielder. I'm not really sure who at the moment, right?
Hmm.
More pressing though is CDM, and that's why we're linked to the Atalanta CDM Ederson. Um,
Hmm.
I'd be interested in him, depending on how much again Atalanta want for him. Um,
Yeah.
but his Brazilian counterpart, because they're both Brazilian, there's a Brazilian playing, I think for Fluminense or Flamengo,
Okay.
one of those two
Yeah.
in the Brazil league called Andre. And in my opinion, when I've seen Ederson and Andre play for Brazil, they look
Hmm.
very similar in their play style, and Andre looks a little bit more like capable of producing a pass than Ederson, in my opinion, from what I've seen.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong, it is in the Brazil league and it is for his national team, so I don't know
Yeah.
if it would translate exactly, but I would go for an Andre from the Brazilian league over an Ederson. But if we get Ederson, I'd be completely happy with that too. I think
Yeah.
those three players at a minimum will put us in the top half of the Premier League table next season. If we get a if Luke Shaw can stay fit, which in my opinion he can't, so I
Hmm.
would sell Luke Shaw. If we could get a experienced left wing back, because again it's the same issue right now. We have a bunch of young left wing backs.
Yeah.
If we could get like I, my mind just goes to like a Jose Gaia at Valencia. If
Hmm.
we get somebody like that in, maybe a backup for Delo at right wing back, and a center back, another
Yeah.
young center back because I think we have decent experience at center back. So Victor Lindelof, I think
Yeah.
that puts us in a position to challenge for at least the top six, maybe the top four.
Okay.
And then I'm only gonna say challenge for the top four if we get all of that that I just explained
Hmm.
and another cam like a Mateus Cunha from Wolves, right?
Okay.
Um, and then I say we would be able to compete for a top four.
A top four.
Challenge for the title, not yet. In my opinion, we're even with all those signings, right? We'd probably still need more to
Hmm.
we'd either need our youth players to come through and adapt quickly, or we need more, I guess, quality to challenge for the title. So realistically,
Yeah.
I think the goal next season for United is to get in the top six, fight for top four, but get in the top six.
Okay.
And then I think the season after that, and it's gonna piss off a lot of fans because in my opinion it's gonna be a slow rebuild, is to actually get in the top four. And then
Mm.
in 3 years we can talk about challenging for the title, in my opinion, at United. I would love to do it next season, but I just don't see how we go from
Hmm.
bottom half of the table to challenging for the title in one summer transfer though, under the Glazers. Because in my opinion, the Ineos
Uh,
ownership is still just the Glazer ownership.
yeah.
So, yeah, I mean that's what I would say for United, um,
Hmm.
for prospects next season. What about? Let's talk a little bit about your game this weekend.
Oh, Fulham.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
you predicted a win and you drew against Ipswich, so I
yeah.
hope you have some wood
So
next to you.
at the form that we're going, I hope for a draw.
A draw, okay.
That's that's what I'm gonna predict. Fulham have been doing pretty fairly well.
Mm-hmm.
They're in ninth position and they've been a pretty solid mid-table team.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but a rivalry game, like that is a
A
derby game.
Derby, yeah,
So
Derby, yeah.
I'm hoping that that'll fire up
The
the
players.
the, the players enough because it is a derby.
Uh-huh.
Um, but like all likelihood, I would hope for a draw.
A draw.
I
Okay.
think I'm gonna pray for a draw.
Mm.
Hoped for a win last season, ended up with a draw. So maybe if I end up with a draw,
He'll get a
hopefully
win.
we'll end up winning.
Some
So
reverse psychology type of stuff.
yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm going for.
Mm.
I'm gonna go for a draw.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then what about yourself?
So we play Wolverhampton Wanderers,
Hmm.
Wolves, and they've been even worse than us this season. So I'm gonna predict a United win. I'm
Hey, okay.
I don't know. I'm feeling confident in this game. Honestly,
Hmm.
I think the players will be imbued by the Leon win.
Yeah.
I think we have a week off next week. I don't think we play midweek until the week after.
Hmm.
So I think we play a full strength team and then we beat Wolves and we take it in the bank and we move on and we prep for the Europa League semifinal.
Oh,
And
okay, okay, okay.
I mean,
Nice.
I do see maybe Wolves give us an issue. Don't get me wrong,
An
Kun.
issue.
Actually I don't even think Cunha can play yet.
Hmm.
I think he's still suspended or whatever
I
happened to
believe
him.
so.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just don't see Wolves being a threat. Famous last words.
Yeah, literally. 3
no,
nil.
no. But on the topic of last things, last week Oscar Piastri won the Grand Prix. I almost forgot what Grand Prix was, but it was Bahrain for some reason.
Yes. Uh-huh.
What? So there's rumors online that McLaren view Oscar Piastri as still their second driver compared to Lando Norris.
Ooh.
But in my opinion, on the form so far this season, it's Piastri who
Uh-huh.
should be their first driver. I mean, their priority,
I it's
in my
I'd
opinion.
have to agree there. It's interesting. I mean, even with the safety cars situation that happened, he still won. He still had about 15 seconds on
Comfortable win.
second.
Yeah,
So
comfortable win.
yeah, very comfortable win. He could be scrolling on his phone while driving, and
Yeah.
he'd be fine.
No, don't text and drive, people. Don't text and drive.
No, don't touch him, right?
um,
Um, but that's just how casual. It kind of just seemed like he was able to just not think about much
yeah,
and comfortable enough for that situation. But Lando Norris comes in third. So although predictions was somewhat right of there being a top two being McLaren, George Russell being in
we
the
got that
in the
right. We
mix.
did. Yeah, we did get that
Hmm.
right. I predicted a
We did
Ferrari.
figure that.
I predicted a Ferrari on the podium, and then Ferrari pulled
Mm,
out a Ferrari strategy and kind of pissed me off. I won't lie.
yeah.
Start
No.
both cars on mediums is crazy.
Yeah. I thought that was really interesting.
I don't
I was like,
understand
why are you?
one. I don't understand
Yeah.
one car on medium.
One of them, I found it funny that both of them were on it. I was like, oh, okay. Then I just saw the sea of soft tires that were with them, and I was like, wow, that kind of what a bold strategy, huh?
So rumor has it, right, that Leclerc was supposed to originally be on a one stop, so medium to hard
Mm,
one stop, and he wanted to
okay,
do it, but
yeah,
then Ferrari with their plan A, B, C, D, right? Charles,
yeah,
everybody's assuming that plan Delta was the one stop, and Charles was asking
mm,
for plan Delta, but Ferrari told him plan Bravo or B,
mm.
and plan B was medium, medium, hard. Which, if you're gonna do two pit stops anyway, why not just start on softs and have them compete for
Yeah, at
the,
that point,
yeah, have them compete.
yeah,
I don't understand the logic behind it, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
but we did get the. I did think we were gonna have, and if Ferrari didn't pull a Ferrari strategy, I do think we still would have had a what's it called? Our prediction of an all, or I guess a different car in every podium spot would have been right.
Yeah.
But
So that's the only thing. I predicted Yuki to finish within points.
you did do
He
that, yes.
finished in nine. He finished in nine. But Verstappen, I believe, finished sixth,
Yeah.
seventh, what,
If I remember
sixth,
correctly, seventh. But
seventh.
he was really upset with that car.
Oh yeah, no,
Verstappen was not happy that weekend with that car.
oh,
He
absolutely not. He
he
would be too.
uh
Um, but I mean, other than that,
it was an interesting race. I mean, there were definitely more overtaking than I thought there was gonna be.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was more than I anticipated.
Yeah. But I mean, Bahrain it is one of those racier circuits where you can get those races where there's a lot more overtakes. So I mean,
Mhm,
I honestly like the Bahrain Grand Prix, even in previous seasons. I know some people aren't big fans of the track, but I liked
mhm.
it. I also like that it's the first night race of the season, so it's
Oh
good.
yeah,
But now,
Behrman.
yeah, Behrman. Oh, Behrman. I'm just saying. If you put Behrman
That
in
was
that
pretty
Ferrari,
good.
if you put Behrman in the Ferrari, instant win. Not much.
Yeah, you think so?
No, but he is honestly he's showing he has he's staking a claim that he should be in a top team car.
I agree. Yeah, he's pushing that car way further
It's gonna be
than
interesting to
I would
see.
have anticipated.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see if Behrman keeps this lightning form up. Right, what do Ferrari do? Because he is
Yeah.
Ferrari's driver, but you have
Hmm.
Charles Leclerc locked into a long term contract, and you just signed Lewis Hamilton. So
Yeah.
at one point or another, Behrman's gonna have to go to a top team, or it's gonna be like I feel like Behrman is the next Russell, who's gonna be stuck at a bottom team for too long,
Hmm.
right?
Mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because Russell was at Williams during Williams' bad period for far too long. I think Mercedes should have.
Way too long.
I think Mercedes should have brought him up much earlier.
Oh
But
yeah, way quicker.
no, but Behrman though, he's electric pace, honestly, and good form, honestly. Like, yeah.
Yeah, really good form.
But Jeddah street circuit. Some say the Monaco of the Middle East,
Uh-huh.
because it's nobody says that. I just said that. We're gonna get hate because of that. But it is what it is. Well, Yuki Tsunoda already crashed. in
I was
FP2.
watching that in the practice, so that's very scary. I am not predicting him to finish in points. I'm predicting him to finish right under it.
Right under
But I'm thinking that Max Verstappen's gonna win. I think a Red Bull has won the Grand Prix the last couple of years.
in Jeddah, yeah.
Um, yeah. So I'm praying. I'm hoping that.
Bold prediction here. A
So
Red
I'm
Bull to
hoping.
win.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm hoping that the Red Bull. I'm hoping a Red Bull win. That it since it is one of Max's favorite, at least
It's a
circuits,
technical
because
track,
he.
yeah.
Yeah. I think Checo has won one of them too,
Hmm.
but the other three have been Max. So hoping that he has enough. He's gonna use that experience to bring the Red Bull over in
My
first.
my thing, what is it, is that Jeddah is such a technical track. Like the changes of directions are so quick and like intervals that I
Hmm.
don't know how the Red Bull with its unstable back. Like if
Yeah.
Max has the same issues that he had at Bahrain, I don't think Max will
Hmm.
be in the podium. Like I think he might qualify on the podium, but I don't think he'll
Hmm.
finish on the podium.
I think he'll. I think he'll.
Do you think he
He'll
will?
manage.
You think he'll win?
Yeah, I think he'll find a way. Yeah.
Okay, okay. I'm for the winner since you predicted your winner. I'm going to predict the winner being Lewis Hamilton.
Hamilton.
Yeah, I don't know why. Just something inside of me
Uh
is
huh.
telling me Hamilton. I don't know why.
Oh, okay.
It's like a something came to me. Like
Feeling.
I spoke to the oracle.
Okay,
No, I don't know,
I
but
get
I
you.
I don't know for some reason I just technical circuits I think suit Hamilton well, and I think he's getting more comfortable with the Ferrari. Although last weekend was a different story, right? Uh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna predict a Ferrari win with Hamilton being first. Now, this is praying that Ferrari don't do another Ferrari
Ferrari
strategy.
1-2.
Yep. No, no, no. I'm praying that Ferrari don't do a Ferrari strategy.
Oh,
I
okay.
I'm not gonna predict a Ferrari 1-2. I don't think both Ferraris will be. On the basis of the season so far, you'd have to predict the McLaren to be on the podium.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
I would
predict.
probably say maybe Lando finishes second.
Do you think Lando this week?
Yeah,
You think so?
I say maybe Lando.
I'm gonna stick with
He's
Oscar
gonna have to
Piastri.
play up more of a fight.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. I'm gonna stick with Piastri though. I'm gonna fuel the fire. I'm gonna
Yeah.
throw flames on the fire.
No, that's
Uh,
fair. I mean, his form has been really good. He's won two. He's like one of the only races to win two
so far,
this
yeah.
season. So, George Russell has been on like what, three out of the four
Podiums.
um podiums.
It's so hard to predict where Russell is gonna be
Hmm.
because I didn't predict him being on the podium last week, and he got there.
Yeah.
I just don't know. Like the Mercedes are having it's such a low key season. Like they're
Yeah,
not.
they are. They're one of the well, I mean you have Russell who's the main one that's pushing. And then I feel like Antonelli, you're not really expecting. Not that you're not really expecting too much from him, but like
He's
kind of
meeting
like
expectations right
yeah,
now.
he's beating expectations, You would at least hope that he finishes in points each race at
Yeah,
the very least, maybe. At the maybe at the verge on some races,
yeah.
but keeping up with his teammate at the very least.
I just feel like Mercedes are having such a low key like nobody's really like talking about like Mercedes in the way like they talk about the McLaren, right, being dominant, the Ferrari
Yeah.
doing Ferrari things, and the
Hmm.
the the troubles that Red Bull's having, But like Mercedes are kind of just like vibing underneath all of this like discussion. They're just here. They're just always here, and they end up on the
Yeah,
podium. So I don't know. Part of me wants to put Russell on the podium again just because of that.
I
But
think so. I think it'll be Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, and I think I'm gonna put or I think I'm gonna put
oh
Max
boy.
Verstappen and Norris.
So Max Verstappen, Lando, or Max Verstappen, Russell, and Norris.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna predict Hamilton. Uh, I'm gonna predict Russell for some reason.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna predict Piastri, and I'm gonna throw in a bonus prediction here, right, for the podium. I think Piastri will beat Lando Norris, who will finish fourth, and I think it'll just add more
Fuel.
yeah, to the fire, to the discussion. But
Yeah.
I think Lando will push hard for honestly, I don't understand why Lando's getting so much hate though. Apparently, I've seen Lando get quite a bit of hate online,
Really?
and I'm not. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Maybe it's just because I feel like he should be performing a bit better than I don't know. Maybe he has been, or maybe it's just the fact that Piastri is becoming a better coming out as like a number one option, and they're not letting Piastri take that over because of Lando,
Oh,
because they
okay, I
want
see.
Lando to be number one. So I could see maybe that's why, because they
Mm.
want to have Piastri being number one,
Yeah.
but they've already made it clear that Lando's their number one, so they kind of want, I guess maybe just
So you're
tone.
saying, so you're saying the hate on Lando is because the fans want Piastri to be number one, but Lando is McLaren's number one. Like they won't
I
budge.
think so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I mean, that's one way to look at it. I would agree with you, honestly. That's probably that is probably it. I don't know.
yeah,
And then as for Sonoda, I mean, the talking point is still there, right? Crashing in
yeah.
FP2. Um, difficult first race in the car. Okay race in the second race in the car.
Mhm.
I mean, I haven't heard as many rumors or like stirrings that he might be leaving.
Yeah.
So I think he's safe for now.
I would say he's safe for the foreseeable, at least to the end of this season. Which
Yeah.
is fine, which is okay. I mean,
I just
he's
don't
gonna
think
need it.
he's. I feel for this race, I'm gonna predict that he'll finish like 10th.
You think so?
I think he'll be in the points, but like he won't. Like it'll be like a far off 10th. Like it'll be like a couple seconds between him and ninth.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. I'm thinking he's probably gonna finish 11th,
11th,
12th.
like around there,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
I think he's gonna finish just outside the points. I mean, he
Uh,
finished just inside last season, so with it being a little bit more of a technical one, who knows? I know him with the he likes taking his corners a certain way, so if the car can't really respond to the way that he wants to take the corners with as many turns that are in the circuit, I don't know. I think he's probably gonna end up struggling a bit around the corners.
yeah, in the especially in the high speed section for me. Because that's
Yeah,
where
exactly.
The Red Bull looks really unstable in the high speed switches of direction. I don't know. I feel like that
Mhm.
kind of unsettles him slightly
Yeah,
in
that
that
I
Red Bull
agree.
car.
I think that's the thing that's gonna kind of not demotivate him, but give him a lot more a lot more of an issue than he's gonna
It's a
anticipate.
yeah. It's gonna give him a lot more to think about when he's in the car, and like
Hmm.
it's one of those things like when you're driving, you don't like, especially when you're driving at that level, you don't want
Yeah.
to have like be thinking about like, oh crap,
Yeah,
right?
literally. Yeah,
And
exactly. So
then speaking of Behrman, I honestly think hey, this is gonna be a bold one. I'm gonna put Behrman finishing like fifth.
you think so?
Yeah, I don't
I
know
think
why.
he's gonna finish
I just think that out of all of the midfield
seventh or eighth.
runners, seventh or eighth, I just think out of all the midfield cars, the Haas is not the best, but Behrman can extract a lot out of it.
Yeah, he can.
And I don't know, he ran good. Was it Jeddah? It was Jeddah that he ran in the Ferrari last year, right? And he
I
did
believe so.
quite well overtaking wise. Like he looked punchy in the Ferrari last year.
Yeah.
So honestly, I think he likes this track. I think he's good in the Haas. I think the Haas is okay. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised
Hmm.
to see Behrman out of nowhere put it on fifth.
That's a bold prediction. I mean, I feel like that's fair. That's fair.
Cuts to next week's podcast. He finishes like 18th.
I know, literally. It's gonna be so funny. Well, we'll see. I feel like you're right. I feel like with the way that he's been going, with the rate that he's been able to push that Haas,
Yeah.
I think he'll manage a way to pull something out.
Do you have any like out of the bucket predictions or
I'm gonna guess Jack Doohan finishes in points.
oh, okay, okay. Is this just because
I
of the
think
recent hype about Jack doing?
I
Like,
think I think it's yeah, I believe so. I think he'll find a way to kind of, although I know he hasn't been doing too well in that car. You know, he
uh,
has been fairly behind Gasly, but I don't know. I'm hoping that hopefully this car he'll be able to manage and at least overtake a few cars. You know.
that's a driver, by the way, that we gotta discuss about Gasly.
Yeah.
There's always one race every season where Gasly pulls off a miracle.
You think it's gonna be
Uh,
this one?
I don't know if it's gonna be this one. Honestly, it could be this one. Don't get me wrong, But I just know that one of these times I'm gonna have to predict a Gasly win because it's more
Yeah,
like it's one race every season. Gasly does something
crazy. Pulls it out the
somehow,
bag.
yeah, just somehow.
Yeah. No,
uh,
I could definitely see that. Um, but I would say Pierre Gasly. Mm,
he's another driver that, in my opinion, should be in a top car.
yeah, it's unfortunate that what happened to him with Red Bull. You know, he
Red
couldn't get
Bull again.
a little bit of time, but of course, Red Bull being Red Bull cut him. So I feel like I don't know. He'll find his way back to a good
You
top.
think he'll find his way back to the top level team?
I think so. I think so. Who knows? Maybe Cadillac comes in next season and burns everybody, and now they won. You
I
know,
just
or
I don't see it happening. You keep
or
saying
maybe
this.
Audi
Maybe
comes in.
Audi, maybe Audi, but like even like I'm gonna be honest with you, next season, I genuinely think. Apparently, people are saying that the Mercedes is gonna be the fastest engine with the new engine
You think so?
regulations. Yeah, and I can see it happening. Honestly, though, I don't any of the new engines or any of the new entries like the Cadillac team, the Red Bull with the Ford engine in it, or the Audi
Hmm.
team. I just don't see them coming in next season and like I think next season is gonna be worse for Red Bull than this season.
Yeah, I think the new engine is gonna take some adjustment. That's definitely gonna take some time. They're just
I
gonna have to figure. I think it's just figuring out how well the engine can compare to the rest of them,
yeah,
and I think that would be the main driving force is the engine.
because I mean
And at
we
least if they'll be able to extract enough power out of it.
yeah, and also it's not even just about power, but also reliability. Like you got to think about it. Like Cadillac coming in as a works team, and Ford coming
Yeah.
in as just an engine supplier, right? Like we saw
Hmm.
when or when Honda came like their first season back in, the engine was underpowered, but more so it was also unreliable. Like it broke
Yeah.
down a lot. Like my thing with new engine manufacturers coming in, and I guess I'm a little spoiled because I support Ferrari. Like
Hmm.
Ferrari have had their issues with their engine blowing up and everything, but like I don't have to worry about Ferrari's not gonna have a different engine than Ferrari, right? Like I'm not.
Yeah, literally.
Whereas like if I'm a Red Bull, right, like the engine is so important because you have the potential to create probably the best aero car, like the car that
Hmm.
does the best in terms of aero, but like you're also at the mercy of a third party engine manufacturer.
Yeah,
So
that's the only thing.
it's like uh, it's hills and valleys, right? Like you have like the super good Honda era, and then like you might have who knows what this Ford era is gonna be like,
Yeah, gonna bring.
So
So I don't know. We'll see how. I think the expectations will kind of have to lower with the new engine
yeah.
next season. We'll probably still be competing. I'd probably say don't. We'll probably still be like, well, I'm aiming for at least third.
Do you think if the Ford engine is that bad, or if it is bad, or if Red Bull can't compete for like a title, right,
Hmm.
consistently for the next 1 or 2 years, do you think Verstappen's retiring?
No, I think he'll go to another team.
You think he'll go to another
I think
team?
he'll just go to. Yeah, I think he'll just go to a top team. If Mercedes ends up being the team that comes out with one of the better cars next season, and he realizes that, I'm sure he'll whatever top two teams next season after the engine regulations are going to be emerging, he'll probably end up going there. And I highly doubt that those two teams will end up
Saying no.
depending on who it is. Um, because I feel like if they really wanted to, like they're not gonna choose Antonelli over Verstappen. I feel like, or maybe they will.
I
Maybe they'll feel like
I I
how
would say
young he
that
is.
if I was Mercedes, right? If I was Mercedes, like if you ask me right now who Mercedes would chop if Verstappen became available, I honestly
Hmm.
think it's George Russell.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Antonelli is the next Verstappen,
Uh huh.
so they
True.
want,
Yeah.
yeah.
Have him learn underneath Verstappen. I'd agree.
But I
So that
just
way he knows to push
I
that car.
I only ask because Verstappen has talked about recently like retirement and everything already. I mean, he's having his baby come soon.
Hmm.
I mean,
But guys like him, he's always been into racing. You know, I think he'll might end up retiring
And
for
then
a
come
few
back.
years. Yeah, maybe like 3 years. Guess so that way his kid can like have like
Yeah.
have a decent, I guess, not childhood, but like upbringing that
I
he can
mean,
actually be involved.
the
You know?
kid's safe. I mean, his dad's like what,
Literally.
multi-millionaire.
Yeah, so it's at least get some involvement in the kid's life before he goes back and like
Continues
decides to,
racing.
continues racing where he can't put as much not effort, but like of a focus on maybe that his family rather than
Yeah, I see what you
racing.
mean.
You know?
I think that's gonna be interesting. I want to see. I want to see how the longevity of Verstappen, right? Because I think right now he's in the conversation for one of the greatest drivers of all time. He's in the
Hmm.
conversation for it, right? But if he chooses
Yeah.
to retire early, right, or chooses to move, I guess disciplines, right, then I don't really see how you could pick Verstappen as the greatest of all time, right? He has
Yeah.
the potential to be, and he's in the conversation already. But longevity wise, you got to think about it. Like, yeah, okay, it's just a title, but like Hamilton has 7, Michael Schumacher has
Hmm.
7. He Verstappen has the same as Vettel, and if we're putting Vettel in that conversation of greatest of all time, which most people wouldn't put him as the greatest of all time,
Yeah.
then you can't put Verstappen in that conversation, or you can't put Verstappen as the GOAT ever. So
Yeah. Mhm.
I don't know. We'll see what Verstappen decide.
Besides you.
Nobody really knows what Verstappen's gonna do anyway.
Yeah, he's a bit of an odd with what the decisions he's gonna make.
Yeah. But other than that, I think that's pretty much it for this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know your predictions for either the games, the race. If you guys think Ollie Behrman to win the Jeddah Grand Prix.
It's gonna happen. Yeah. One of the boldest predictions out there.
But other than that, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Stay safe, take care. Leave a like, comment,
Okay.
subscribe. We'll see you guys. Peace.